Kirk Cousins, where's he playing ball in 2017?
In 2017, the Redskins.
You think so?
Yes.
They're going to franchise.
They will franchise and they will pay him that grip of cash. I remember it might have been probably like 4 years ago. I had this conversation with Pat McAfee at Combine. And
he's
said,
a hilarious guy.
He is. But he had like this moment. He said, people are freaking out about this franchise tag. He said, I hope I get franchised. He's like, that's just $2.5 million, and then I'm right back at it the next year. Cousins is laughing all the way to that. I mean, you're $40 million in 2 seasons.
His argument, though, and from a football and from a locker room standpoint and the respect of the fellas, he says that he can't really be the leader of the team when they don't know if he's going to be there for the long term.
I don't know. 20% raise year over year is pretty good for me.
That is some sweet
You'd have my
sugar
respect
to help that medicine
have
go
my
down.
respect if you were earning that.
He's playing it perfect.
No, there's a lot of buzz that he's going to be moved before this, and I know that's easy to attribute to.
Where do you think he's going then?
Well, I might be wearing a red jersey out on the West Coast.
I mean, more importantly, though, okay, so who's their quarterback? Cousins leaves. Now what do the Redskins do?
Well,
that's the problem.
That's why we can move on to the next name on in the QB carousel. Let's jump right to it. The big ticket item of this free agency period or trade or whatever he might end up being. That's not even clear yet. Tony Romo, America's quarterback.
He's not going to be the big ticket. There's another one on there that's going to be a bigger
Jimmy
ticket.
Garoppolo?
Yes.
The Garoppopotamus.
You think that there are teams that would rather have Jimmy Garoppolo for a season?
Yes.
Obviously, you'd rather have Garoppolo for the long haul over old man and brittle Tony Romo.
Yes.
Cynthia Freeland, lay it on us. Where's Tony Romo balling?
This one's really interesting to me because as I hear all the different trade rumors, you kind of Chicago, whatever, like all these different potential landing spots. To me, I don't know. I guess Chicago. I don't know. This one's not that interesting.
I think Chicago makes a lot of sense. They have a good offensive line. If they keep Alshon Jeffrey, then they have Kevin White coming back. They have Jordan Howard.
Yeah,
I like that.
Good defensive front.
I'd say even without Romo, I've been noticing this over the last few weeks. Beware those Chicago Bears. I think they're going to be decent this year.
Conversation in 2016. I feel like we did.
You didn't have it with Dameshek.
I feel like they were.
The year before, Jay Cutler had career numbers with Adam Gase.
With Adam
as
Gase.
his coach, he had career numbers. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They don't the weighing game because both of them are injury risks.
Here's, I think, the more interesting question: where do you want him to go?
Yeah.
Where do I most want him to go?
Where would you like to see him?
The Houston Texans.
Right.
What's the most compelling story?
That's where we want him to go.
In state with those
if
weapons.
We get a vote, of course.
Yeah.
But we don't.
That's where I'd like to see him.
Handsome.
Correct.
Well, I think Houston is where he will end up as well. I think you look at Bill O'Brien is going into year 4, right, in Houston. If he doesn't win this year, really win, then I think they'll try something else out. He's not going to do that with Brock Osweiler.
I feel like that's as a side note. Anybody in Houston who's getting scutchy about the need to move on from Bill O'Brien, they keep winning the division.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand.
But we've seen hundreds of examples of teams winning divisions and then just always being out in the first round of the playoffs. It's not really.
Eventually, teams are going to figure out we can't always be firing coaches if we're winning divisions. Obviously, the template is there.
I actually think Jimmy Garoppolo would be most successful in Texas for the Houston Texans because the Bill O'Brien system, the Belichick background. We've seen. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo has this limited skill set, but if you wanted to, I don't know. To me, if I'm trying to keep my job and I'm Bill O'Brien.
But see, the thing with Houston is they're, what did we just say? They keep winning the division. They have the most dominant defense, save Denver probably in the NFL.
And they're getting J.J. Watt back. You're probably, but with Romo comes the baggage. This isn't a dislocated middle finger on his non-throwing hand. I mean, it's a back, and that's the concern.
Most people don't I used to have a back injury.
Right. But I think if we can project that Romo will be healthy, that's a much safer play than Garoppolo.
One more, Jay Cutler. I thought the one possible salvation for him was Carson Palmer deciding to hang it up. And maybe he goes to Bruce Arians. If anybody can make it go.
Big arm quarterback.
Yeah, that in broad strokes, that seems like it makes sense. He's I could see that marriage working out, but now it appears that that's not going to happen. So let's just get to it. Let's just cut go to the Jets.
Go to the Jets.
It's a marriage made in.
See, I think there's one other one there.
Who?
The Houston Texans. Just because Bill O'Brien has had success with everyone. I mean, when you think about team, Matt Schaub wins a division. Brian Hoyer wins a division. Even Brock Osweiler and Tom Savage, and they win a division, he's just really good. And Jay Cutler would be infinitely more talented than all of those guys. And you just said it with Adam Gase and a capable quarterback coach. He was pretty damn good. I mean, he was pretty damn
just
good.
take care of the ball,
That would-
Cutler.
well,
that
and-
would be the
Yeah.
concern.
I mean,
Yeah,
and that
good
would
luck
be
with
You have
that.
a good defense. That's bad news.
Do you really think, like, I thought about this yesterday. Do you really think that there are 20 quarterbacks better than him? Yeah, I guess my point is, like, how many, like, 15, like,
It
how
all
many
gets to
he's
the
a
list.
starter.
Right. How many,
He's a
how
starting
many are
quarterback.
really better than him? Like, there's a lot.
I think he's somewhere
there's
between 15 and
32
20.
teams.
He's, he's in that range.
And last year, Houston's quarterbacks were between 30 and 32.
Right.
So now you move up, and think about Jay and how he always fixates on one receiver. So now he's fixating on DeAndre Hopkins, and that's that duo that's making that music that Alshon Jeffrey and he were making, and Brandon Marshall and he were making. I mean, it almost works out a little bit.